So this is day one of my a big challenge where I'm creating a fictitious company and I'm showing you guys how to create the motion graphic for the company and how I did it from the logo to the logo reveal to the Figma, the UI UX parts. Today I am going to be working on the logo. So first of all, I always tell people anytime you're working on your logo or anytime you're working on anything in general, go to Pinterest and search for ideas. In a lot of times is going to help you a lot. For example, I've sat down now for about 30 to 40 minutes just on Pinterest trying to like look for ideas and just search for things. So there are some things that you're going to need actually. You will need a pen. This is like a kind of mechanical pencil. Yeah, pencil, not pen. So you can erase your mistakes. Eraser, and you need a book. And last thing, you will need a ruler. So it's better that you get your logo looking as accurate as possible, so that when you're converting it into the Illustrator format, it's going to be like looking better. So yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you guys to do for now, and I'm going to talk to you guys later after I have finished the logo. Okay, so first what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to draw a straight line. Like this. So this is what we are actually going to use for our like boundary and stuff. So let's make another line here. At the beginning, this is what I actually wanted to use, something like a begging hand, but it's A-shaped and stuff. And when I actually saw it in the real world, I was like, nah, I can't use this. So I moved on to my second idea, something like this. And this one too was, I don't know, it was looking one kind in my eye, but I did not like it also. But I actually liked the shape of the inside. I like this for the inside. I like something like looks like a triangle for the inside. So I actually like this. So I went to my second idea, and here's my second idea. So second idea, I liked this. I wanted to do like a triangle for the logo, but like I said, I did not like it also. But I actually like this opening here and this opening here, like how I did the opening here. So this was the next one I did, turn it into a circle. And you could see I tried to keep the opening I got from here. I tried to keep the opening here, and I also tried to keep the opening here. This one now was very, very, it spoke to me because I actually like the inside of this. I like how I did the inside. But when I went back and I just looked through Pinterest again, I just noticed and I thought about it critically, and I was like, okay, that will not work very, very well for like a financial company. It needs to be an application, for example. So the name of the app is literally Abeg, and we want people to be able to recognize it from far. So I was just thinking, okay, so I liked this part here. So I like this part here. Why don't I just transform that into a rectangle for like app shape and stuff? So that is where the new idea is actually coming from. So I'm just going to use that this thing I did again. And let's bring this down and open it up like this. So something like this. Then I like the fact that it curve up. So like this. Now I'm going to just curve the edges, because if you notice how iOS, Apple likes doing their icons, they like curving the edges. So I'll not want the edge to be like perfectly squared off. So like this now, it gives it a whole new feel to the app. And now if you look at it from far, you can see that this now looks like an A. So I could actually have left it here and like, okay, this is going to be our logo and it's going to be our this thing, and I can just find a simple font and use the font for our text. I mean, is it text they call it? I use the font for our like font. I don't use the font for our text, just writing out the abeg. But what's the challenge in that? So I'm going to create custom type for all the versions of abeg, all the listing of for abeg. So the first thing I'm going to need is now is for B. B has a giant gap in the middle. So let's just measure this out. And this is around 2 this is 5, 6, 7. So divided by 2, that is 1.3 something. So let's say 1.3, that's somewhere around here. Now let's come here again and also take 1.3. 1, 2, 3. So that's somewhere around here. So like I said, I don't actually need this to be accurate because I'm going to make the final corrections in Adobe Illustrator. So this is just going to serve as like a guide for me. So like what I did the last time, and I'm just going to round off the edges also. So let's round off this one also because it's going to be a B. Okay. So now I don't want this to like just cut through everything. I want it to be a little bit like, you see how this looks very, very pillowy. I want it to like look like a pillow also. So this is not going to all the way to the back. I'm just going from here like this now. I'm just going to bring it in somewhere like this. So now we have gotten how I want our B to look like. Working on is our E, but first let's round off the corners also. Now the E is going to be a little tricky because we have to actually separate this one now into 3 distinct parts. So for the E now, just going to round off this place. So in the final third of this, I'm going to round it out like this. Let's bring this down a little bit more. Now somewhere around here, final one is going to be our G. So for our G, let's round off the corners again. So now we have this cool looking logo here. So this is just going to be, it's going to serve as our logo, and it's going to also serve as, and this entire thing now is going to serve as our word mark. Welcome to day 3, and today I am working on the conversion from the logo for my sketchbook into Illustrator, and it's going to be a very interesting tutorial. and I hope you guys learned something from it. And without talking too much, we'll jump right into Illustrator. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so I'm here in Adobe Illustrator, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to film and video. I'm going to 1920 by 1080 here, go down to more settings, and I'm just going to change transparency grid to off, then create a new document. Okay, first let's just bring our sketch into Illustrator here, and let's just shrink it down. Let's just shrink it down. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a normal rectangle like this. I'm going to my properties and I'm going to shut off the fill, go to my stroke and just increase the stroke like this. Let's just leave it. I think 2 is okay. Now go to the edges and drag the edges in like this. Now I'm going to go to my pen tool here and I'm just going to make this line that is in the middle here. So now let's just do some small adjustments. Let's make this a little bit smoother. Back my pencil here, and I'm just coming to somewhere around here, coming down here, and I'm just going to adjust this like this. So now I'm just going to convert it back so that it forms this thing like this. Let's move this thing up. And let's just call this one up like this. The top one here is not actually a sharp corner, rounded off. I'm just going to select all these strokes here, going to objects, going to path, going to outline stroke. So what that just does is that it converts it from like a stroke that we created into its own rectangle, so we can use it for this next part that we are going to do. So I'm just going to, after all these ones are selected, I'm just going to select the main body of our A here, and I'm going to my shape builder tool here, and when I click down here, you can see everywhere now has become like black or whatever I want to call it. And oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Before you actually do that, let's just duplicate this rectangle, because that's going to be the size of our other letters. So like the B is going to have this rectangle as its size, so like that. So now we can do that again. Select this, and select this. Go to our shape builder tool here and just click on the shape builder like that. Now you can see that it looks like nothing happened, but let's just come inside here now, and you can delete all these ones. Let's remove the stroke and give it like a white fill or something. You can see we have our this thing looking nice right here. Okay, you can see we have some problems down here, so we don't actually need this one and this one. You can just remove them. Okay, so now I'm just going to get my pen tool here, and I'm just going to make 1 point here and make 1 point here. Just bring this one down like this, and also bring this one down like this. So now I can just drag this in like this from here, and I'm just going to drag this in like this. So now let's work on our B. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to duplicate it like that. Let's bring it back down, and I'm just going to drag this inward like this. So now what I'm going to do is, this one I have duplicated now, I can now move this one out of the way and just use that for my E. And now I'm just going to duplicate this one So just hold down Alt and just drag it down. Now you can see that it's not actually aligned properly. It's like it's not equal to each other. So let's move this one like that. Then we can now select the two of them and just squash them down until they line up properly. Okay, so I think this is okay. So I'm just going to my rectangle again, and I'm just going to draw simple rectangle like this. So now that we have these three like this, let's just select this one, and select this one down here. Go to our shape builder tool and just combine the three of them. We can shut down our stroke and just give it a simple white fill. Okay, so now let's work on our E. We're going to move it down like this. I think it's like this, right? And I'm just going to Alt and duplicate it. And I'm just going to move this one upward 3 touches here. Hold down Alt again. This one down here, I'm just going to Alt and drag. I'm just going to move it like this. Like that. So next I'm going to do is go to my rectangle tool here, and I'm just going to make a simple rectangle at this edge like this. Let it stop somewhere around here. And now I can just take this and just move it to the other side. So for this one now, I just need this curve up to this place. So what I can just do is I can just go to my pen tool here and just make a point here and make another point. Yeah, okay, I think leaving this point here is going to be okay. So I can now just come here and just start deleting a lot of these points here because I actually don't need them anymore. And finally, we're just going to take this point here and just move it back somewhere that is inside like this. Now go to your object, go to your path, go to outline stroke. Now let's select everything one more time again. Sorry. Select this and select this. Go to our shape builder tool. Okay, so I'm just going to move this here because I think I'm going to need the same thing for this. To get this G, I figured that the G is just the opposite of the E. So what I can just do is I can just select this and let's change the color to white also. And V, then can just delete this and also delete this. Hold down Alt so you can duplicate this. Now let's go back up like this, flip it horizontal and flip it vertical and flip it horizontal again. You have had a G. Right, this is how G is supposed to look like. Yeah, that's how G looks like. So we have our A, B, E, and G. Okay. So now let's just zoom out, delete the entire thing, select everything, let's change the color to black. So now let's just move all of them closer together. So I think this is beautiful. Like this, there's not, let's see it. Yeah, this is right the way it's looking. Very weird. And if we are going to use anyone for a logo, this is going to be the logo here.